Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival. So today what we're going to talk to, or what this is going to be, is this is another survival prepping question of the week. This question came a while back and I couldn't find a comment for it, but the lady essentially asked if I could talk a little bit about carjackings and things that you can do, to help keep yourself from getting carjacked, or something basically along those lines. So anyway, what I did is I went back to an article that I had written probably 4 or 5 years ago, or actually a buddy of mine wrote it. I kind of collaborated with him a little bit and updated it a little while later, and so here you're going to get the updated version again. So there's basically 12 tips to help avoid carjackings. Some of them are kind of common sense, but some of them are stuff that's, maybe you hadn't thought of. Hopefully it's helpful. So number 1, park your car in a well-lit area. Highly populated areas are going to be better because there's a higher chance that you're going to be seen by someone, and the criminals don't like to be seen. They don't like to have witnesses. Parking all the way out at the end of the lot where there are fewer lights, just to avoid a door ding is not necessarily the best thing as far as security goes. The second thing is if you're closer to the buildings, you're generally going to be more within range of the security cameras' ability to zoom in and get good clear pictures and that kind of thing. So staying a little closer is better if you can. Number 2, be alert when you're approaching your car. This is like I talked about in my other video as far as situational awareness goes. Anytime you're in transition from your building to your car, or from building to building, or in any kind of transportation changes or anything like that, you want to make sure that you have heightened awareness, and you want to be looking for people that are loitering in the area. Take a look as you approach the car from a ways back. Take a look underneath the car, make sure there's no weird nobody underneath it or anything like that. And obviously if you're approaching your car and there's a large van parked on the driver's side, maybe you want to get in on the passenger side, or maybe you just want to go back in the store, wait till they leave or something like that. Anyway, number 3, have your keys out and ready, but be carrying them in your weak hand. So, if you're right-handed, carry them in your left hand. The reason you want to do that is that way you keep your strong hand ready and available for a strike if necessary, or if you carry a concealed weapon, then you would be able to draw your weapon. That kind of thing. The reason you want to have the keys in your hand is in your door key ready or your key fob ready is for 2 reasons. 1, you can open up your door faster if the key's already in your hand, and 2, you could set off your alarm on your car, or set off the emergency horn thing to draw attention to the area if somebody was to try to come and attack you. The other thing is that if you got your strong hand free, a quick punch to the throat or a kind of a downward shin kick, it might give you enough time to make some space, and then you could draw your weapon if they got like up on you really quickly and you didn't see them coming. Just an elbow or something like that real quick might help. If you've got stuff in your hands, then especially your strong hand, then that makes it harder to do. All right, so number 4. Always walk with a purpose, okay? Always have your head up, have your chest up, look like you're alert. Don't have your head down in your phone. Also, don't be afraid to make eye contact with these people. If you see people around the area, go ahead and make eye contact with them, and hold that eye contact a little longer than normal, but not long enough to really challenge them. You want to let them know that you see them, and you're not afraid to look at them a little longer than is comfortable. And the reason is if they do decide to attack you, you'll be able to give a better description to law enforcement. But also, if they see that you're paying attention, they see that you're looking around, that you're alert, that you've looked them in the face, they're less likely to attack you. They're going to wait for somebody who's got their head down on their cell phone, who just realized, oh my goodness, I need a manicure. Those are the kind of people that are screaming to criminals, hey, look at me, I'm a victim. So you don't want to look like a victim. You want to look like somebody who's paying attention, who knows what's going on, and who is ready to engage in a fight if necessary. Okay, number 5, if you carry a concealed weapon, which I highly recommend, or any other kind of personal protection equipment, to include mace, baton, stun guns, brass knuckles, whatever's legal in your area. You can put your hand on or near the weapon and basically be ready to use it anytime that you get that gut feeling that something isn't right. Trust your gut. I mean, that's kind of a reoccurring theme in these is if something just doesn't feel right, you need to pay attention to that and be ready, to act. And, if you're a female and you carry a purse, you've got pepper spray or something, you can put your hand down your purse, have it on that pepper spray or whatever. And that's going to give you a real good advantage in being able to activate that a lot quicker. I can't tell you the number of times that I have seen and heard victim interviews when they look back and they're like, in hindsight, I knew something wasn't right, but I just didn't pay attention to it. That's a mistake. You really need to trust your gut. Number 6. At intersections, I did a video on this too. I'll try to throw a link in the description if I can remember. At intersections, stop far enough behind the car in front of you that you can still clearly see where their tires hit the pavement and maybe a little bit more. I usually try to do a few fingers or a fist when you're kind of holding out. That gives you plenty of room to crank your wheel and pull off in case that you were at an intersection and somebody tried to come in and carjack you. While you were stopped or whatever, they come in and they try to, knock on the window or get you to open the window and then pull a gun or something. If you are ready and you've got enough space, you can hit the gas, crank the wheel, and get around them. Chances are they're not going to shoot because you're already down the way. They don't want that kind of attention. They were wanting you to capitulate, to freeze. They're counting on that fight or flight, and they're counting on you just basically freezing it in place and capitulating with what they want. So if you take off, the chances are probably smaller that you're going to get injured or anything like that. Hitting a moving target is hard enough, especially if you're doing it gangbang style. It's even more difficult. So, chances are if you take off, you're probably not going to get hit. Okay, so number 7. Some carjackers will use the ruse of bumping into you at an intersection or a stoplight and then trying to get out and talk to you and get you out to exchange insurance and all that kind of stuff. And then they'll end up taking your car and your car keys and all that kind of stuff and taking off. So if you're hit in traffic and if something just doesn't feel right about that, you can always just pull off into a lit, heavily populated area. Just kind of wave your arm out the window like, hey, follow me. And then call law enforcement, wait for their response. Just kind of stay in your door with the vehicles locked and the windows rolled up until they get there. It's really just kind of a judgment call on that one if you want to do that or not. But that is always an option for you. Okay, so number 8 is if you're traveling with a child in the car and you are the victim of a carjacking, let's say whatever reason you couldn't apply these techniques, you got caught by surprise, there was somebody in front of you, you couldn't pull away, whatever the case may be, you're in the situation, right? They're trying to take the car. If you've got a child in the car, make sure that you say very loud, very clear, I have a child in the car. My kid is in the back seat. Let them know that. That is, kidnapping a child is a step further than most carjackers are going to want to go. It also helps them kind of pull their selves out of the situation because all they're focused on right at that time is, getting you out of the car, taking the car, and getting gone before the police come. If you let them know that there's a kid in the car, the chances are that you may be able to even avoid the crime altogether. But especially if they actually got in the car, make sure that you're yelling, you're trying to keep them from driving away and everything. Let them know that your kid's in the car. It's just something to bring up there. Most criminals don't want to have to deal with a kid or kidnapping charges and all that kind of stuff. So that could help. And I suppose it's possible that you could even do that as a ruse, maybe. Number 9, don't be afraid to run a red light or a stop sign. Obviously, you need to make sure it's clear before you go, but if you're sitting up front, just go if you have to. It's a whole lot better. If you get a ticket, no big deal. At least you've got the attention of law enforcement and, you can point out that you just got carjacked. Okay. just make sure everything doesn't end up in a mangled pile of metal. All right, number 10. Drive with your windows up and your doors locked. Now, a lot of cars will automatically lock the doors, as they go now. But you want to have a suspicious nature about yourself, especially when you're in shady areas. Pay attention to anybody that's loitering at intersections, anybody, people in construction zones, broken down cars, detours, vehicle accidents. All those things should really raise your antenna and get you to be thinking, in a suspicious way, because that could all be a ruse to take advantage of you. Remember, like I said earlier, trust your gut and be suspicious. Is the guy on the corner handing out, flyers and stuff like that, is he actually doing that for the local nightclub, or is he just trying to make a quick buck off of your blood, sweat, and tears, Okay, number 11. Ladies, keep your handbags off the front seat. Keep them down on the floor, or, in the floor in the back seat or in the trunk. This is going to help, keep those things out of sight. It'll help avoid smash and grabs. Store your valuables in your trunk until you get home. That's the best thing that you can do. And as a woman, if it's possible, try to bring a friend with you. Don't be out riding around alone if you can help avoid it. Now, obviously, this depends on where you live. In more rural areas, it may be a little more safer for you to do so. In more high crime areas, you definitely want to try not to. The simple fact is that women are most likely to be carjacking victims. When you look at case studies of all these things, it's more often females than males, because criminals just expect that women are not going to put up as much as a fight as men will. So if you have somebody with you, chances are they're not going to probably bother with you either. Number 12. Once you're in your vehicle, if you carry a concealed weapon or any kind of other non-lethal weapon, make sure it's accessible. If you, and I guess I would ask you, have you ever practiced drawing your weapon from whatever holsters you use while in your vehicle? A lot of people don't, and it's a very good thing to practice, and you should absolutely do that, because if you can't get to it easily or quickly, then, with whatever holsters you normally use, then you may want to consider mounting a holster on the underside of your dashboard or between your seat on your console, or getting a quick access safe or something along those lines, because you need to be able to have access to your weapon just in case. Now, that's the 12 tips. Lastly, and most importantly, I just want to let you guys know, don't limit yourself to just what I'm saying in this video. These are just some things to get you thinking. You definitely should educate yourself and your children, especially your teenage children, about high-risk situations. Teenagers are very naive. They think they know everything and they feel invincible, so they often put themselves in situations that can be more vulnerable. So you should definitely spend time talking with them about these kinds of things, or hey, just have them watch the video. As everything in life, do your own research, educate yourself, take responsibility for your own safety and security, because in the end, it's up to you. And remember, the first word in self-reliance is self. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I definitely appreciate it if you click the thumbs up button, if you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe, guys. And if you'd like, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I think it's down there. Or over there. I always get confused which way it is. And if you're not getting the videos on a regular basis and you'd like to, click the bell right next to the subscribe button, and that will set it up so that YouTube can email you anytime a video goes live. Thanks again. See you soon. Stay safe.